What's up, everybody, and welcome back to NFL Hardcount. Okay, so the 2024 UFL season is definitely upon us, and today we continue our UFL mini-series with an in-depth look at the San Antonio Brahmas. Now, I have to admit, the Brahmas have a pretty awesome name and even better uniforms, but as they make their transition from the XFL to the UFL, they've got nowhere to go but up after a disappointing 2023 season. Today, we're going to take a look into how the Brahmas got their name, how the UFL decided to pick San Antonio as one of their cities to host a team, and we'll give you a pretty thorough analysis of the current coaching staff and player roster, including the one player who is definitely going to make a social media splash for the UFL. If you don't know who this young star is already, you're gonna want to stick around to see this guy's highlight reel. All right, let's get into it. In July 2022, the San Antonio Brahmas marked a new chapter in the Alamo City sports history, becoming a proud member of the XFL after Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bought the XFL league from his old boss and former WWE owner, Vince McMahon. Owned jointly by the Fox Corporation and a distinguished consortium of Alpha Entertainment, which includes The Rock himself and his ex-wife Dani Garcia, the San Antonio Brahmas bring together the worlds of sports and entertainment in a unique way. But some of you may not know that the Brahmas were not one of the original franchises. That's right, Alpha Entertainment and Fox decided to replace the Los Angeles Wildcats franchise with a new San Antonio team when they restarted the XFL after their 3-year post-COVID hiatus, and the San Antonio Brahmas were officially born. But why the Brahmas and why San Antonio, you may ask? Well, let's talk about that. Dwayne Johnson has quite a few nicknames. He goes by The Rock, the People's Champ, the Great One, the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment, and on and on and on. But the name that's relevant to the UFL and former XFL is the Brahma Bull. Dwayne Johnson has used the Brahma Bull trademark to brand himself in more ways than one. It's the signature logo for most of his companies, including his Under Armour line of clothing. The Brahma Bull is so tied to Dwayne Johnson that it was one of his first of many tattoos on his arm. So it was a no-brainer to have one of the franchises named as the Brahmas when he bought the XFL from Vince McMahon. But the American Brahma mascot has actually originated from a hybrid crossbred species of American taurine cows and sacred zebu, which is a South Asian or Indian type of cattle. These Indian zebus were imported to the United States back in the 1840s and early 1900s to help the meat industry improve their livestock inventory. The American Brahman bull is known for its resilience in harsh climates, symbolizing strength and endurance, which makes perfect sense for a San Antonio team since that part of Texas is one of the best areas to raise cattle. The XFL version of the San Antonio Brahmas showcased their team logo and colors on October 31st, 2022, with the dark gray, yellow, and light gray bullhead with pointed horns on each side. And it looks like that version of the mascot is here to stay. And just how did XFL owners select San Antonio as a city that would own a franchise? Well, XFL co-owner Jerry Cardinelli confirmed in an interview back in 2022 when they unveiled the official decision that it was a no-brainer to select San Antonio as a team site. Cardinelli mentioned this: San Antonio is a phenomenal town for football. It's a diverse town, as we've talked about. It represents all of the values and ideals of what we stand for as a league, as part of a football nation. So we led with that. It was an easy decision. And indeed, it was an easy decision for the XFL, and that was proven in their 2023 season opening game attendance. The birth of the Brahmas brought a fresh wave of excitement to the San Antonio sports scene, with a team identity deeply rooted in cultural and historical symbolism. Even though the team didn't perform so well during the season and the fan attendance declined, the San Antonio fans still showed up in the thousands, and the season opener drew a crowd of 24,000 fans. The San Antonio fans continued to show out for their Brahmas, and it looks like they have something to cheer for this upcoming 2024 season. And speaking of cheering for the Brahmas, in the heart of San Antonio, the Brahmas have ignited a vibrant fan community, with initiatives aimed at fostering a deep connection between the team and its supporters. At the forefront of this movement is the all-female football fan group, the Brahma Mamas, dedicated to building the local UFL community and making game day an inclusive, family-friendly event. Their optimism about the new UFL and the Brahmas is infectious and commendable. Okay, here's my take on the San Antonio Brahmas coaching staff and players for the 2024 season. First, let's start with the front office and their new general manager, Mark Lillibridge. With the departure of their old general manager, Will Lewis, and head coach, former Steelers wide receiver Hines Ward, the Brahmas have a fresh new look to their leadership. Mark Lillibridge is not a household name for most football fans, but as a scout for the Packers and the Chiefs back in the early 2000s, and as a player rep just a few years ago, you can say he has the pulse of the young players and what they need to be successful in the league. One thing is for sure, he has one hell of a veteran coach coach to back him up in the football operations department. Head coach Wade Phillips needs no introduction and has been coaching professional football for almost 50 years. His defensive schemes are quite impressive, and his defensive mindset and strategic game planning earned him AP Assistant Coach of the Year honors in 2015, as well as a Super Bowl ring when he absolutely stuffed Cam Newton, the Carolina Panthers, in Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos. But more recently, as the head coach of the Houston Roughnecks last year, Wade Phillips led his Houston team to an impressive 7-3 record, and their stout defense was impressive throughout the season. But the Arlington Renegades were having a dream season and absolutely destroyed Houston's defense in a 26-11 loss in the first round of the playoffs. So Wade Phillips decided to push the reset button and made the coaching switch to San Antonio for the 2024 season, and he has some solid players to make the Brahmas way more competitive this year. The Brahmas team composition is a testament to Wade Phillips' vision for a balanced and competitive squad. Analyzing the Brahmas roster reveals a strategic blend of experience and emerging talent, crucial for the team's aspirations in the 2024 season. Now, I don't normally start off with special teams, but I think we have to in this special occasion. The San Antonio Brahmas made one of the most viral signings during this past offseason, and this guy will definitely contribute to the team's third phase of the game. The Brahmas aim to make their special teams truly special with the significant signing of Donald Delahaye, replacing John Parker Romo as a kicker. I know that some people are going to make the assumption that the Brahmas only signed Deestroying for his millions and millions of social media followers, but you have to give Donald Delahaye some credit. The guy is an actual kicker with college experience, and even if the Brahmas did sign him for his popularity, it will surely get more eyes on their talented team and more butts in the seats at the Alamo Dome. I think everyone wins on Deestroying signing. Hell, maybe he kicks better than Buffalo Bills kicker Tyler Bass, and Deestroying kicks himself right into an NFL contract. Who knows? It's possible. I'm sorry, Bills Mafia. Didn't mean to pour salt in that still very fresh wound. I'll make it up to you, I promise. On the offensive side of the ball, you have to get excited about their pickup in signing Chase Garbers to their 2024 roster. This is definitely an interesting signing because the guy is athletic and can absolutely set their offense up for success this season. Garbers was signed by the Las Vegas Raiders on their practice squad for the last 2 years. Yeah, that's right. He was in the same QB room when the Raiders decided to bench Derek Carr for the last 2 games of the 2022 season, and they activated Garbers to the game roster. A little awkward, but hey, a game check is a game check. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does for the Brahmas. He makes decent plays when he scrambles out of the pocket, and that kind of play goes right along with what Wade Phillips and offensive coordinator AJ Smith wanted from Cole McDonald in Houston last year. Quentin Dormati is the other quarterback on the Brahmas roster, and hopefully they don't run a 2-quarterback system like they did for Garbers at Cal during his 2018 season, but we'll see. The QBs have a pretty awesome weapon at their disposal in wideout Jontre Kirkland. Kirkland is definitely a star in the making, and there was no comparison as to who was the most exciting wide receiver to watch in the old XFL last year. It was definitely Jontre Kirkland. I mean, get this, Kirkland caught 15 passes for 253 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Houston Roughnecks last year before he got hurt. That's almost 17 yards a catch. There's no doubt that if he's healthy, he will be the Brahmas' #1 deep threat. The UFL dispersal draft also gave the Brahmas wide receiver Cody Latimer. Latimer had a very promising career coming out of Indiana back in 2014. The Broncos drafted him 56th overall in the 2nd round and had high hopes for his physical talents. At 6'3" and 222 pounds, there was no doubt he would have been a decent addition to the world champion Broncos. But Latimer had troubles adjusting to the speed of the NFL and the vast difference in the formations, adjustments, and reading the defenses. Latimer bounced around the NFL and ended up in the XFL playing for the Orlando Guardians last year. Now that the Guardians are out of the league with the UFL merger, Latimer now plays with the Brahmas.
And it is touchdown for Latimer.
Hopefully, Latimer, along with practice squad veterans Marquez Stevenson and tight end Alize Mack, will be able to feed off of Kirkland's performance and make some key contributions to the Brahmas offense. Their offensive line is a decent one. They made some key signings this offseason in signing offensive linemen Greg Island, Chuck Filiaga, Derek Kelly, and Jared Williams. The jury is still out on how they'll perform as a unit, but time will tell. On the defensive side of the ball is where the Brahmas are expected to improve significantly from last year. With the signing of Packers defensive lineman Jason Lewin and LA Chargers defensive lineman Terrence Lang, they add more depth to their defensive front. The return of standout edge rusher Delonte Scott is huge too. Last year, Delonte finished the year with 35 tackles and 7.5 sacks in 8 games. Linebackers Garrett Nelson and Zach McLeod will share their meeting room with veteran linebacker Joel E.A. Beniwe from the Carolina Panthers, who has the speed and coverage prowess to be effective in both the run and quick passes across the middle and into the flats. The defensive backs are the biggest wild card for me for the Brahmas defense. They've signed DBs Benji Franklin, Gavin Helsop, Scott Nelson, Darius Phillips, and Vernon Scott this offseason. I honestly don't know what to expect from this DB core of players, but I do know that Wade Phillips will definitely coach this group up and will have them ready to go on game day. So the brand new UFL season kicks off on March 31st, and the DC Defenders will be in town to play the Brahmas at the Alamo Dome. The broader implications of the Brahmas' efforts extend beyond mere sports entertainment. They signify a vibrant addition to San Antonio's cultural tapestry and a potential catalyst for furthering the sport's growth. In essence, the journey of the San Antonio Brahmas is not just about football. It's about building a legacy that resonates with resilience, community, and excellence. The fans are ready. The Brahmas are ready. And I know you fans are ready to see this newly revamped Brahmas team under head coach Wade Phillips. It should be a good season, or at least a much improved season for San Antonio. Enjoy the spring, Brahmas fans. It's going to be a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.